You're not going to want to miss this episode. I'm going live to Brighton to the Labour Party conference. I'll be speaking to the Deputy Leader. I'll be speaking to the First Minister of Wales. I'll be speaking to the Scottish Labour Leader. I'll be speaking to so many Cabinet Ministers. I'll be speaking to Zarah Sultana. I'll be speaking to broadcasters, so many different people. Just watch the whole video. Please share it if you enjoyed it, because I want as many people as possible to see this. Enjoy the video. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want to ask you, what's your message to young people?
Well, my message to young people is that with a Labour government in Wales, where I come from, but if we could get one across the United Kingdom, then we will invest in young people's futures, not by telling them what to do, not by telling them how they should live their lives, but by listening and learning and working together. And in that way, we can create a future that really will matter for young people, because it will be about the things that matter to young people.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jonathan Ashworth, Shadow Health Secretary. I just want to ask you about young people's mental health. What is Labour's plan for young people's mental health?
I'm so pleased you've asked me this, because this is, I think, the big issue we've got to confront. There are so many young people today who need help, sometimes are struggling, sometimes need very serious help, and the system denies it to them because of the Tory cutbacks. So we're going to invest in the system, we're going to invest in services, in schools and in young people's facilities in the community, and we're going to guarantee that no young person is denied the mental health care that they need.
We're joined now by Nandy, the Foreign Secretary. I just want to ask you, can you kind of give like a message to young people all around the country?
It's never ever been more important to get involved in politics. If you look at what this Tory government is doing, the damage that they're inflicting up and down our country, you've got to get stuck in, you've got to get involved in order to change things for people. And the Labour Party isn't just an opposition, we're an alternative. We work in every community across the country in order to make that change. We're a family, we look after one another, and we even have some fun. So please get involved and help us create a better country.
I'm joined now by Anneliese Dodds. Thank you so much for joining me. I just want to ask you to give a message to young people across the country.
Well, thanks to everyone who's listening to Politics Relaxed, and the thing I would say is that you can make a huge difference through politics. You really can't change the world. It's by getting different laws put in place, getting money spent on different things, that you can make a difference. And ultimately that's by standing for election yourself, it's by electing different people, by voting, and also it's by campaigning too. So I really hope the young people listening to this will consider doing that, and it's really great to be interviewed by Politics Relaxed. Thanks.
Young people, listen, we need you in the Labour Party, so please, if you're not already in the Labour Party, please get on our website, look at what we stand for. We stand for you, we stand with you, vote Labour and become a member.
Burnham, Manchester Mayor, thank you so much for joining me. I just want to ask you to kind of give a message to young people across the country.
Oh, I would say to young people, keep strong, keep hope. I know you've had a really tough time, but actually I'm counting on you, because I have a lot of faith in your generation. I think you are the generation that will come through and fix politics after my generation has made such a mess of everything. I just think you see the world differently. You don't see difference in the way that generations before you have done. You have a belief in the equality of people. You see the urgency of climate change. We need you, and we need you to stay strong. We need you to stay hopeful and be confident that you can and will make changes for the better happen in this world. So that would be my message to young people right now.
Hello, I'm joined by Sarwar. You're the leader of the Scottish Labour Party and MSP. Thank you so much for taking the time. I just want to ask you, what is your kind of message to young people, especially the young people of Scotland?
Look, we've got to build a country where every young person's ambition is met, and the only limit to it is their imagination. And that means we've got to give them opportunities in education, we've got to give them opportunities in the jobs market, and we've got to make sure we build a country that is free of prejudice, free of hate, and everyone can live the life the way they want to do it.
Thanks. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm just going to ask you quickly to give a message to young people.
I would say to everyone who's young and isn't in the Labour Party, please join. We desperately need more young people to get organised within their constituency Labour parties, within the Labour Party's infrastructure. getting involved in like the policy side, coming to conference. Young Labour is such an important space. It's where I was able to develop loads of skills, get involved, build networks, and it's helped me on that journey that I am on today. And I will say that if you already are a Labour Party member, find a way to get involved, to find a space where you can meet other young people, build campaigns in your local area, and get involved in all aspects, running for positions, running in elections. There's so many opportunities within the Labour Party, and we need that fresh talent to come through that we can develop and train. So they are our leaders, not just in the future, but right now.
This has been a really tough time for young people. The pandemic meaning so many young people have been out of school, have lost so many months from their education, and of course at the same time we see rising unemployment, which really damages prospects across the country. We need young people to be active, we need young people to be engaged, we need young people to be challenging their politicians, challenging it on the issues that they care about. But can I just say there's one issue above all else, and that's the climate emergency, in which an older generation is bequeathing you a planet that's effectively on fire that you need to be very loud about over the coming months and years as we head particularly to COP in November.
I'm joined now by Ian Dale. You present a programme on LBC. Thank you very much. I just want to ask you kind of what advice would you give to young people who are interested in going into politics or interested in politics?
I could say don't, but that would be like, no, I mean good people need to go into politics, and I think the mistake a lot of people make is to think that you have to become an MP by the time you're 25. And it's good to have a sprinkling of younger MPs, but I always think it's much better to get some real life experience before you go into parliamentary politics, but there are so many other things that you can do. Just joining a political party. I get a lot of emails from people who listen to my For the Many podcast with Jackie Smith, and they say, well, I want to get into politics, how do I do it? And I'm thinking, well, you've got to align yourself to a political party. And I know maybe it shouldn't be that way, but you can't make any headway as an independent. You've just got to, look, nobody agrees with 100% of what their political party does. I mean, I got into Conservative politics, but I probably agree with, or used to agree with, about 85% of what the Conservatives stood for. Probably a bit less than that now. And in the end, you will always agree with one party more than the others. So go and make your voice heard, and if they do things that you don't agree with, we'll try and make change from the inside. And I know a lot of young people think, well, I'll join a single issue pressure group, which is fine. If you believe really strongly in a cause, go and do that. But that shouldn't prevent you from becoming involved in party politics as well. And you can get involved at a local level. I think it's great that there are more and more younger councillors nowadays. Being a councillor used to be a job for the retired, and it still is to a large extent. But the more younger people get involved in that, I think the better.